Okay, so let's start the session. I'm very excited to have all of you here and starting this journey of teaching. Am I audible, right?
Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, so I'm excited and I'm hoping that you are excited as well. We had introductory session on 26th of February. For those who missed it, let me introduce myself. I'm Rajesh Hadia. I have around 5 years of experience building Android applications using various technologies like XML, Jetpack Compose, and other Jetpack components like Roam database, navigation, view model, MVVM architecture, work manager, etc. Along with the Android development, I do backend side development as well using the Spring Boot and Kotlin. Kotlin is my primary language. I started my career with the Java language, but since Kotlin is prominent in almost all the domains, including backend and Android development, I started using Kotlin. So that was a brief about me, and uh, it was great to meet all of you in introductory sessions as well. So before we start today, let me walk you through where you can find our recordings and assignments and what are the procedures, etc. Then we will start. So let me share my screen here. Okay, so my screen is visible, right, to everyone?
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay, thank you. And one thing I'd like to request is please, folks, please be interactive because this is the way I want this session to be. I don't want to conduct the session like I kept on.
Hello,
Hello,
is I audible?
yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. Sorry, just was checking the mic. You can continue.
Okay, no issues. So, I don't want this session to be like I just kept on speaking and you folks kept on listening. Okay, I want it to be as interactive as possible. So, please participate in the questions I ask, or if you have any suggestions or anything, you should definitely speak about it. Okay, so let's first give you some brief intro, like where you can find all the things. So the first is this link. This is the link where you can find the course details. If at any given point you need to know about the course details, you can go through this link. This is basically a presentation, and you will get the course overview and what you will learn and schedule and pricing and what is the course content, basically what we are going to cover. And this is the first week, right? So in this week we will cover setting up the development environment, creating the initial app structure, introduction to MVVM architecture, and implementing the MVVM architecture in the application. So this is basically course content that we are going to cover in the coming weeks. I'm not able to hear you. We'll try to rejoin. Okay, sure. Okay, so this is course content. These are some FAQs, facts. You can refer it here. This is my brief introduction, and these are some reviews from the past course. Okay, so if you need to know anything about this course, you can go through this link. I'll send it in our group as well. The next is our GitHub repo. Let me show you that as well. So this is the repo where we will host all our codings throughout the 6 week. I've invited most of the folks to this repo, and most of you will have access to this repository. But I think around 5 or 6 people are yet to accept the invitation, so I would request them to accept as soon as possible, so you can have access to this repository. So all of the code that we write in coming weeks will be available here, so you can have a look at anytime on this repo. This organization and then master Android development S01. S means basically season 01. Okay. Now the next important thing is this Google Drive folder. So what this contain? It contains multiple folders. The first is assignments. All of the assignments that I'll provide you will be available here. There will be 6 assignments for 6 weeks. So all of the 6 assignments will be available in this folder. Okay, now there is one folder called recording. So what this folder contains is it contains all of the recordings that we will have in the coming weeks. Okay, let's say for example we had a welcome session on 26th of February, right? So you can find the recording here. Just click on this Google slide, and then you'll find the YouTube embedded YouTube video here, right? So you can just click on it and it will start playing. So you can we will provide the, okay, so you can access all of our recording. For the daily recording you will find in the recording folders, and these slide folders will contains all of the slides that we are going to have a look in coming weeks, basically presentation. Now I already announced this in the introduction session, but for those who joined later, this is a readme file. You can access you can access the file links here as well. This is Google Drive link and this is a GitHub repository link. Okay, and we are running a reward program as well. So we are also running a program in which top 3 learners will receive full refunds after completing the course. So let me show you how it works. So uh, let's say what you will need to do from your end to participate in this reward program. So as I mentioned, I'll give you 6 assignment and 1 assignment per week, right? So there will be total 6 assignments, and what you have to do, you will receive your assignments by early Saturday IST, that is Indian Standard Time, by end of the Friday or by the early Saturday. And the next step is you must complete the assignment by writing the necessary code and uploading it to the GitHub. So you what you need to do, you need to write the code, finish the assignment and upload it on a GitHub and make it a public project. Okay, don't make it private because otherwise I won't have access to it. Make it a public project. Then when you are finished, write about it and tag me on a LinkedIn. So what you need to do, you need to create a LinkedIn post, write about your project, like what you did, and you need to tag me on a LinkedIn, right? This is my LinkedIn profile, so you can just tag me. And the deadline is you must submit your code by Sunday end of the day, right? Because starting from the Monday I'll start reviewing the code. And if you feel stuck anywhere at any point of time, and if you need assistance, you can contact me on WhatsApp. All of you has my WhatsApp number, right? All of you has my WhatsApp number because we are all in the same group, so you can just ping me there. Now what is the evaluation criteria for the reward program, how we will decide who is the top 3 learners? So I'll evaluate the submissions using 3 criteria listed below. The first is the number of assignments completed. Those who have completed the most assignments will pass this criteria. Okay, so let's say if 5 people, just assume that 10 people has completed the 6 out of 6 assignments, right? So we will filter out all other participants and we will focus on the 10 participants. So I would encourage you to encourage everyone to complete the assignment, every assignments, in order to pass this criteria. The next is code. I'm unable to access GitHub link, getting 404. Okay, I'll give you an access after this session. Okay, no worries. Okay, so now the next evaluation criteria is a code improvement. I've gone through all of these things in welcome session. You can watch it as well, but just to mention, this is like code improvements. Like if you can, let's say assignment is about building some basic UI. Okay, so if you can do it with basic things, don't try to make it complex. Okay, that will be fall under this criteria. It's not about DSA or making your program super fast. We are not going to evaluate that, but just plain simple logic that that if you can do it simply, try to avoid increasing the complexity. Okay, this is the second part, and the third part is the code quality. Okay, so let's say for example, for the code quality criteria, let's say what we are going to have a look is, let's say if you need to decide a variable. So if instead of defining something like this I equal to 0, what you could do is, let's say you are creating counter, right? So you could do something like this. So this is a pretty self-explanatory, but this is not, right? So if you have done this, I'll count it as a plus point. So this is just an example. So throughout your code, you need to take care of all these things. Okay, so this is about the third criteria, and based on these three criteria, I'll identify the top three learners after the course is completed and initiate a refund for them. So those who pass all of these three criteria, I'll rank them by 1 2 and 3, and I'll initiate a refund for them. Okay, any questions on this?
Hi Rajesh.
Yeah, hi.
Hi Rushikesh here.
Yeah, Rushikesh.
So about the assignments, like, are you going to take the assignments by yourself, like the assignment that you have us, given to us to complete? So, are you going to take that assignments also, or we need to submit it to you personally or
Sorry,
talk with you personally?
can you explain a bit?
Like my question is that you are going to give 6 assignments for 6 weeks, right?
Right, right.
So that assignments, are you going to overview, or are you going to tell us how to do it, or are you
Uh,
going to provide the whole code? Like,
no, I'm not going to provide the whole code. So what we will do is, uh, we will throughout the week, basically from Monday to Friday, we will learn the concepts, be it architecture or room DB or data store or network request or work manager or anything. Okay, so throughout the week, from Monday to Friday, we will learn the concepts, and based on our learnings, I'll provide you an assignment. Let's say, for example, let's say in the second week, let's say we learned about how to create UI with Jetpack Compose. Okay, so what kind of assignment you could expect for that week is, let's say I could say, I'll provide you one graphical UI. That is up to me how I provide, but I'll provide you a graphical UI, and your assignment would be implement that UI using the Jetpack Compose. Okay, so now that will be up to you to use whatever you want. Be let's say if you want to use a column or row or boxes or anything, if you want to use some stats, if you want to host the state, these are the compose pandas, so don't worry. So that is up to you, but I'll give you task to do. Basically I'll give you a task to do that. Okay, please complete this assignment. Okay, it could be building UI, or it could be some functionality, like I could say, uh, save this data in local DB and observe it. Okay, so I could say something like this. So now it's up to you, that you need to decide that, okay, this is local DB, right? So what is appropriate for it, either data store, basically alternative of the shared preferences, or a room DB. That is something you need to decide. I made hints wherever applicable, but you need to think about it, and you need to implement it. Okay, so basically it won't be something like a very complex things that you have no idea, but it would be basically from all of the our learnings throughout the week. Okay, so
okay.
and
So who knows only just basic of the Kotlins can also do that assignments, right?
yeah, so see, like basics of the Kotlin is the requirement for this course, right? It's a kind of prerequisite for this course. So if you know the basics of the Kotlin, then it's fine. But as we go along, you need to learn things in this session as well. Let's say, because this is the whole motive of this session, that you learn along with this as we progress, right? But let's say, for example,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
let's say if we are on a week 3, let's say if we are week 4, and you ask that, okay, I don't know how to create MVVM architecture. That is something you should ask in a week first, right? It's not something that we will address in a week 4. But you the main thing is you need to learn along with the session, and that way, via this assignment, I'll be able to track your learnings, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the assignments will work like that. Okay, does it answer your question?
Yes, Rajesh. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
hi Rajesh.
thank.
This is Funny.
Yeah, hi,
Hi
Funny.
everyone. I just have a question. Okay, you'll be providing six assignments, right?
Hmm.
Okay, at the end of the course, will you provide any answers or any code for that all six assignments or no?
Mm, okay, so you are asking that
At the end,
that
not immediately, immediately, but like
sorry.
yeah, at the end of the course, maybe after yeah, at the end of the course, maybe after 6 weeks of time, will you be able to provide all the answers for all the six questions, or like how it
Oh,
is?
okay, great questions, Funny. Yeah. So, to answer your questions, not at the end of the course, but by the end of the
Mhm.
week. Okay, I'll provide an answer. Let's say I provided an assignment on a Saturday. Okay, you have till
Okay.
Sunday to finish it. On Monday, I'll review it, and maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll provide the answer. Why? Because why this approach? Because let's say if in first assignment you made some mistakes, right? And I have provided the answer, so based on the answer, you could improve your coding on next week, right? So that will be helpful and win-win for everyone, because uh, if I provide answer on each week, then you could have a look at the code and you could improve for your second week. That will definitely improve your chances of being succeed from the next week.
Okay, Rajesh, that is fine. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, please, one more.
Yeah, I was asking, will you also explain little bit about coroutines also in this, or what?
Mm,
Or only MVVM and after that Jetpack Compose you will say.
yeah, okay. So core routine is basically integral part of the compose. So I'll explain it into bit, but I had a dedicated sessions on core routine, and fortunately it's free. So I'll provide a link in the group, so you can go to the YouTube and watch that episode as well. I'll try to explain it here as well, because I think I believe most of you are familiar with the basics of the Kotlin, so I'll explain it here as well. But I'll provide that link, and you can go through that YouTube video to understand coroutine in details.
Okay, and the whole course you will teach in English.
Uh, yeah, because my initial thoughts was using Hindi plus English as well. But most of the folks prefer English, and we have some folks from outside the India as well who don't even understand Hindi. So occasionally I may use Hindi as well, but for the most part of this session, it would be in English.
Okay,
Okay. ऐसा नहीं है कि मुझे हिंदी में वो नहीं है, बट it's just that कि people prefer English, and we have some a few folks from outside from India as well. Okay.
ठीक है sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else?
Hi Rajesh.
Yeah, hi
Yeah.
Bhavna.
Rajesh, you have given a GitHub link for the project, right?
Right.
So that project is not compatible with the Android Studio version,
Okay.
my version. So what's the issue? Do we have any specific version to
Okay, so what
for
is
the
your
for that
Android? Yeah, definitely. What's your?
chipmunk
It's a
chip
chipmunk.
chipmunk?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you can, I would advise to update it to electric eel as well, because this is the latest table, right? And chipmunk is far behind. After the chipmunk, we had
Um,
dolphin, and then electric eel, right? So I would suggest to upgrade, because I can make it available to chipmunk, but this is generated, right? This is generated from my another template, and this is I'm fan of like a latest studio. So I created this template in a giraffe, right? That is currently in a canary build, and not even the electric eel. But I've tried, and it's working in electric eel as well. So I would recommend you update your Android Studio to the electric eel, and in its latest table as well.
Actually, Rajesh, I have already tried with electric.
Your voice is breaking, Bhavna.
The one you have given the my own.
Hello.
So
Is this only me, or
hello.
Bhavna's voice is breaking for everyone?
It's breaking from everyone.
Yeah, her
Not
voice is.
every.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Bhavna, can you try a bit, and then can try to ask the question?
Bhavna, if possible, can you rejoin?
Hello, Rajesh.
Hello. Yes.
My
Uh,
voice is audible.
yeah. So yes, you are audible. You were saying something?
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask, like, I have a Bumbly version at the moment, so should I need to update it or it will work for this course?
For the bumblebee, I think it won't work, because even for the chipmunk, it's not working. So for the bumblebee, it probably it wouldn't work. So what I would request and recommend is update to the latest stable build, that is electric eel. And Bhavna is saying that electric, even for the electric eel, it's not working for her. I'm not sure why, because for me, it's working on electric eel. So I'll see what she is experiencing and the problem, and then I'll try to suggest the workaround. So for you, I'd suggest to upgrade to electrical. You can
Okay,
continue for 10 minutes.
that's why I have not updated because sometime it create issues gradually. So that's why I've flown back to Bumbly.
Mhm.
That's
Okay, but I think in the
yeah.
issue was in Dolphin, right? Even in a community group, if you see that
No,
people.
before Bumbly some version is there, no? In that it was issue then I upgraded and then I went back to some before version of Bumbly.
It's a bumblebee, by the way, but uh,
Sorry,
uh,
Bumblebee.
no problem. Anyway, so you can try. Let's or see what you can do. Is let me suggest you a workaround. Let's say keep your stable environment. What is it currently? That is, let's say, be it a bumblebee or chipmunk or anything, right? And what you do is you go to the studio preview. The currently it's giraffe. Go to the studio preview and download the preview version, right? So you can install this build along with your stable Android Studio, and it won't interfere with your current development environment. So you can install it. Let's say, for example, in my screen you can see this is electric eel and this is giraffe, right? So you can install preview version. uh,
We can download two version in one computer.
yes, you can install this.
Hello?
Yes, you can install this canary build along with your stable build.
Yes, Anmol.
Hello, is it
Okay.
clear for you, Anmol?
Anmol, to answer your question, like see, if it is a Mac machine, I think like you can install two versions of Android Studio. I'm not sure about Windows machine.
It
uh
is Windows for me.
okay, so it's fine,
No,
it's
in
fine.
Windows
Windows
also we
also
can install.
possible, I think.
See, it's not dependent on
Yeah, Windows
OS.
also.
Okay, it's not dependent on OS. Whether you are on Windows or Mac or Linux, you can install this beta build and canary build along with your stable build, so it won't make any issues. and you can run multiple versions of the studio. See, this is Windows, right? My system, you can see it's Windows, and I have two versions of the studio, stable and canary, so it's fine. So you could download the canary version and try to import this project, so it will work on latest stable as well as canary build. Okay, so this is solution to your question.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else apart from all these questions? Do anyone has any question, or should we proceed?
Rajesh, one quick suggestion actually.
Sure.
I just want to tell you, like, see, because people are taking classes from offline as well, so I just want to add you the things like which like as a prerequisites. Like, see, what is the latest Android version to be used, and what is the latest Android Studio to be used, like, and everything. Make it as a prerequisites and add it in one document, and you can provide in the same GitHub link, something like that.
Right, right, great. Yeah, so I'll
Because like people are taking the classes from offline as well, right? Like, so it will be easy for them to access the links and to complete the assignment on time.
right, right. So I'll add that all these things in a readme, right? I'll add
Yeah,
all
that should
these
be
things
fine.
in. Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Funny.
thanks, Rajesh. Yeah.
Okay, anyone else apart from these questions? Do anyone else has any questions regarding this Get repo or regarding this Google Drive shared folder? Okay, so I think everyone is fine. So we have covered Drive link as well. Now let me show you slides. Okay, so this is slide for the first week. It will get updated as we progress. So this is basically pretty title, right? Master Android development. This is the week one, and then this is something about me, blah blah blah. My LinkedIn URL and GitHub URL as well. And what is the agenda for this week? This so see, these are the weekly slides, right? So I'll try to create 6 slides for 6 weeks. So what is the agenda for this week? Set up the development environment, create initial app structure, intro to MVVM, and then implementing the MVVM. So to set up the development environment, what you need to do, because why I included it, because and I know for the experienced folks it would be like cumbersome and tiresome. Okay, but we have folks from college graduation as well, so I had to include this step. So to build Android applications, you need to download Android Studio. You could just we won't go in much detail, but you could just Google it, download Android Studio, click on the first link, and then you can download Android Studio Electric Eel. Electric Eel is the current stable, right? Okay, so you can
Yeah.
download it. Then let's create the first project. Okay, so I have installed the Electric Eel. So let me start the Android Studio. And for those who don't know, Android Studio is yeah, because experienced folks will able to relate that Android Studio is a kind of is a evil software that will hang your entire system because it requires high amount of memory as well as the CPU. So let me start it. Okay, so dark theme is fine for everyone, right? And because I'm just asking from the visibility perspective, is it visible to everyone in this dark theme?
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay,
Yes,
great,
yes, Rajesh.
great. Okay, so this is your Android Studio, and yes, okay, thank you. So this is your Android Studio. Now let's see. You have installed your system load is heavy, right? You have seen that because I started
Hello.
the studio. Yes.
Your screen is on Google Meet only for my means it is not going to other way.
Okay. So like, are you not able to
Yeah,
see my Android Studio?
now, yeah, now I am able to
Now
see.
we are able to see.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. So we have download the studio. I'm just shrinking the steps because like most of you know, right? And let's create the first project. So what you need to do, you need to go to file, click on new, and then click on the new project. And for the base XML, we haven't had these options earlier. We had this option called empty activity, right? So you need to click on next, and then you need to name your project, that is my application. You need to provide a package name. You need to provide a storage location where you want to store this project. You need to select your language, be it a Java or Kotlin. This course is only in the Kotlin, right? Because Compose is exclusive to Kotlin. It's not available in Java, so we are going to use the Kotlin. And here you can select the minimum SDK as well, like on this is the number of Android SDK, on which you want to run your application. That should be minimum. Let's say, for example, if user try to install this application, if we have 7 Nougat, and if user try to install this application on Android Marshmallow, he won't be able to do it. Okay, then click on finish, and then Android Studio will generate this kind of UI for you. Okay, so we have this folder called app, and app has a manifest. This manifest files is basically it contains every informations about your application, like what are activities are there, what are the intent filters, what are the broadcast receivers, services, etc., and name of your application. This file contains everything. Basically, this files is there to let Android system know that what your application is consist of. Okay, then we have a folder called Java, and now we have 3 folders with the package name that we defined earlier. If you click on this package, you can see one class, Kotlin class called a main activity, and which extend the app compat activity. And we have overridden the on create method, because these concepts are like everyone is familiar with, right? uh, Overriding the methods and all those things. Do we have anyone who don't know what this code is doing? Just let me know if anyone is there. I believe most of you are
to launch
right, right,
to launch activity.
right. My cursor is hidden. Yes. Okay. So we have this code created. This is something created by Android Studio. Then we have this folder called for one for Android test and another for the normal test. Okay, and then we have this folder called resource. Here we have multiple folders called drawable. Inside the drawable folder you keep all of your resources, be it a image or graphics or anything. You keep it inside the drawable folder that is necessary for your application. Here we have one folder called layout, and this file is activity underscore main.xml. So what these files do, it contains the UI that will be executed by this main activity. So basically we have this Kotlin code, or let's say Java code, and we have this XML file for building the UI. This is the traditional way of building the Android applications, and we are not going to do that. Okay, now we have one folder called map. So here you contains your application icons, and multiple variants of it inside the map folder. Now we have one folder called values. So this value folder contains, let's say, if you are using multiple colors in your application, you can define it here, and then you can refer in your project. It contains multiple colors, and based on the hex code you can see the preview in the gutter icon, gutter preview as well, like this. And then we have a file called string.xml. So what it does, it contains all the hard coded string inside your application. You shouldn't hard code your string in the Java code or Kotlin code, and instead you should define them in the string files. Okay, now we have a folder called themes. So basically this is the theme of your application, like this will be useful for the Android system to theme your application according to your customization. Now we have one folder called XML. It contains backup rules and data extraction rules. This is not required as of now, but basically it asks Android system to contain some like a treat application in such a way. Okay, so let's say for example, if we have backup rules, when Android system is performing backup, if you define some rules here, that will be considered as well. So this is not required for now, XML. Okay, and now we have another section called Gradle. Okay, so for those who don't know, Gradle is basically build system for Android applications. So what is a build system? So a build system is basically, let's say you write Kotlin code, and then you have some XML file and some UI files as well, right? So now when you build your Android applications, all of these files are combined into one folder, one file, one single file. Okay, so who will do that? That things will be done by the Gradle. Gradle is a tool responsible to like build your compile your files and package them, etc. Right? Gradle will do that thing. So he in these files we can define some configuration for your application. We have two Gradle files. That is, one is project level, that is build.gradle in a project level, and the another is app level. Okay, so this is entire project. So for this project we have this file build.gradle project level, and let's say we have this app folder. So for that folder we have this another Gradle file build.gradle. So it contains configuration specific to the app folder. Let's say if we are building a multi-module application, then we will have a multiple module level build files. This is module level file, and this is a project level file. Okay, in the project level file you define the configuration that is similar to the entire project, and for the build level you can define the configuration that is individual to the that module. So by default, and in most cases you won't need another module, but and this one single app module is fine. So this configuration is related to this app module. Okay, uh, now let me walk you through.
Rajesh, here,
Yes,
sorry, can I ask doubt here?
sure, sure.
Yeah, see, here like you are saying like two things are there, right? Sorry, build Gradle is there for application level and build
Mhm,
Gradle is there for project level.
mhm,
So can you brief more on like see where it is useful for like maybe see app level like where it is useful for and project level where it is useful for, maybe consider like give some real time scenario like where it is used kind of
mhm,
thing. And
mhm,
in most cases like what to be used, I understand like see we do an application level only, right? Like the most of the things will be done on application Gradle level only, and
mhm,
when the project when the project is like project level has been used something like that. Give some real time example so that it will be easy for everyone to
mhm.
understand.
Yeah, great, funny. So just to like just to give you an answer in context, like how like do you have Android experience building Android applications?
No, I'm into iOS actually, but I have some knowledge in like Android. Like I'm not into Android much actually.
Great, sure.
But iOS level, I can correlate the things from here to iOS, but not on Android level.
Okay, sure, no worries. So okay, let me first show you how it's organized in your storage. So this is, we have one folder. See, inside this folder we have this build.gradle file. You can see this is a project level file, and inside this app module you have this another build.gradle file, right? So this file belong to the app module, and this build.gradle file belong to the this project module. Okay, if you select the project view from here, you will be able to see it. This file is for entire project, and this file is for the app module. I'll come to your question soon. Okay, and if you click Android view, it will be easier for you to navigate. That's why you can see all the files in one location. So you can see, I can see the project is written here. So this is project level file, and this is build level file. Okay, now when to use what? So let's say this is Android Studio Electric Eel, and I have created the project with it. So it contains only this much of information for project level file. If you create your project with a older version, be it Arctic Fox or Bumblebee or anything, you will find more information here, like a dependency management and all those things. Okay, so let me give you an example. uh, for example, let's say we use the dependency injection, right? Yeah, like, and I believe you are familiar with the concept of the dependency injection. I'm just giving you an example. So let's say we have multiple modules. This is one module. Let me show you another create a new module, and let's say my application 2, and let me give you a practical example as well. uh, Main activity 2. Okay, let me finish it. Android Studio is now generating the source for the file. Okay, now it will run the Gradle build enable proxy. Okay, let the build finish. Where is the build window? So inside this build window, whenever there is some changes in applications, or in a build files, the Gradle will build the project, and you can see the progress inside the build window. If you are not able to find it, you need to go to view tool window, and here you can find the build, right? If you click it, this window will appear. So you can see the building, Gradle has started the building. So let it finish the build. Okay, so now if you go to the project view, you can see we have multiple modules, right? This file is for the project. For the app, we have one build.gradle file. For the my application 2, we have another build.gradle file, right? So for each of the module we have build.gradle file. So this is a multi-module application, right? And for this we have another file as well. Now maybe this build will take time, so let me show you the use case in this view only. So let's say now in both of this module we need dependency injection, and for Android the preferred way to inject the dependency is a hilt, right? Hilt library, which is built on top of the Dagger. So we need a hilt. Let's say we need a hilt, but and now what we want to do, we want to use the same version of the hilt for both of this application. Okay, let's say if you go to the my application 2's build file, and if you define the hilt library here, and if you define the hilt library for the app here separately, that will what it will do, let's say it will manage a different version for the library. Let's say for example, you need to define the hilt version here, and you need to define the where is the file, you need to define hilt version here as well. So that is redundancy, right? So what you need to do, you want to unify the things. So what you go to the project level file, and here you define, let's say define the dependency block, dependencies. This is groovy build file. So what you can do is you can, let's say I'm not sure because how to define it in groovy, because since long I'm using Kotlin build files, but let me give it a try. Let's say for example def hilt version, uh, we don't have by keyword here, uh, equal to extra. Let me see, uh, let me see, because since long I'm not using groovy. uh,
Okay, that's fine, Rajesh. Like, I don't want to waste time on this. Like, that is fine. I just want to understand.
mhm.
See, it's a project level means as a layman terms, like you can consider like as a project level, it is like a global thing, and a
Right, right,
modular level, app level, it is a local thing.
right. Perfect, perfect.
Correct. For
That's
example, okay, I can tell you, see, rather than defining or configuring a properties or something like that in both consider we have multiple apps, like maybe we
mhm,
have 5 app levels. Rather than defining every app, we will
mhm,
be defining at a global place that is called at project level at one point, and
mhm.
and we will remove all from all the app levels so that like in future also like maybe like it will be easy for code redundancy something like that. Okay,
Mhm.
rather than changing in all 5 places, like we'll be changing in global place.
Right. Correct, correct.
Is it like that?
Yes. That's exactly
Okay,
like
fine,
that.
Rajesh. Like, just go ahead with the flow. Like that is fine. I got it.
Okay, great. So this is the use of the project level build file, and for the each individual level you can define it here. So let me again go to the Android view, Gradle. Let me clear these things as well. And whenever you change the Gradle file, you need to sync the files with the Gradle, right? Do not show again. Click yes. Okay. So this is the use of the Gradle file. Now let's have a look at the app level build file. So here we have some plugins. These are pretty standard plugins and useful to build application. It's by default, right? com.android.application, and this is Kotlin dependency. Here we have another block called Android, and this is the what is okay. So what is the namespace? We had provided the package name, right? So some of you might even Android developers might even don't know is that what we used to do is we used to define the package name inside the Android manifest with this tag, right? Something like this package. Okay, we used to define something like this. So now if you if you do it, it'll provide an error or warning saying that defining the package is moved to the build files. Okay, so now Android Studio is improving, like Android team is improving the development and moving most of the things to the build files. So this namespace is nothing but your package name. Okay, and it is moved to your build file. So you need to define namespace and then space and then the uh, your package name. Basically this is Groovy language. Okay, what all of this code, some of you might wonder, it's written in a Groovy. This is Groovy running on the JVM. Now we have another thing called compile SDK. So 33. Okay, so basically that means we are compiling this application against the Android SDK level 33. That is I think Tiramisu, maybe Android T, that is 33. Okay, we are compiling this against Android 33. Now we have another block called default configuration. We have this application ID. This is for Gradle to identify this application. We have min SDK 24. I have mentioned, right? We have selected minimum SDK to 24. That means user, it will only run as low as the Android Nougat and won't run on Android Marshmallow. That is something we define here. Target SDK is something like against which target we are targeting this application. So this is something we decide in a target SDK block. This is version code. Basically after each update you should increment this version code, and this is version name. This is for your reference that you can refer it. Okay, this is basically application metadata, you can say. Okay, now this is test instrument runner. This is for testing. So let's skip it. Now we have build types. So build types could be either release or debug. You can create your own build type as well, but this is Android Studio generated the code for the release build. So what does it mean? When you prepare a release, when you click on build and click on generate signed APK, that is essential for uploading your application to Google Play Store, or to be precise, let's say if you want to give your application to anyone, you need to create a release build. So when your APK is preparing, this code will be executed, right? So minify is enabled, that means it will minify the resources, it will basically shrink the resource. And this is a ProGuard files. ProGuard is a system that shrink the code in Android. So this is the rules file, you can see it here, right? ProGuard rules for application. So these are the pretty standard default rules that ProGuard will use to shrink your code, application code. Now we have compile option block. So we are compiling against the Java 8, that is Java version underscore 1 underscore 8. So we are compiling it against the Java 8. Now we have Kotlin option, so and the Kotlin is targeting the JVM 8 as well. Now this important thing is dependency block. Okay, so in while building our applications, we may need lots of dependencies. Let's say we want to we want to store the data, so we need a room dependency. We want to navigate throughout the application, so we need the Jetpack navigation dependencies. So all of the dependencies that is not in our control, basically third party dependencies, you need to define here inside the dependencies block. Okay, and this implementation is basically like a keyword or a function from the Gradle, and then by the after the implementation give it a space and then provide your dependency name. Okay, so this is core QTX, and all of these things are from the Android, right? These are the essential, basically you can say fundamental dependency to build your application. Core GTX, app compate, material, and constraint layout. Okay, let's say for example, if you see the main activity, right? And if you click on app compate activity, you can see the package is androidx.appcompate.app. Okay, you can see app compate, so you can see app compate dependency, right? So if we have this dependency, we have this class, and if we have this class, then only our main activity is extending it, right? So these are the fundamental dependencies. This material 3 material dependency is a design library by the Google, and we need to include it. This is a constraint layout, so basically it's a layout type. If you go to the layout file, you can see the constraint layout here. So basically this is a kind of a root uh, uh, kind of a manager which manage the child views in it, be it a text or button or anything. Okay, so these are the pretty standard dependencies. Now we have test implementation for testing and Android test implementation as well. So how it differs test and Android test? So this test is basically the JVM test, basically anything that does not require your application to run, and you can test directly your Java or Kotlin code. This is why this test implementation. And let's say if you want to perform some UI test, it requires your Android device, right? So that's why we have this function called Android test implementation, and you can see this here as well. The one is test and one is the Android test. Okay, and now let's say we have gone through the project. Now let's say you want to run this application. Okay, let me remove this module entirely. uh, where is the refactor? Where is the remove? Okay,
Delete option is there.
let me open in Explorer. Okay, and let me just directly remove it. Okay, great. So it's gone, right?
Rajat, meanwhile, can I ask one question?
Sure.
Okay, fine. Like, see, for example, like if you don't want our application to be installed on a router device,
Mm-hmm.
consider our application has to be protected.
Mm-hmm.
We have a two. You have said like we have two the modes, right? Like one is release mode, and another one is debug mode, and another one is like customized mode.
Mm-hmm. No, that
Uh,
yeah, please proceed.
Yeah, so like I see, for example, like okay, consider like we will be working for different clients, and like okay, consider if it is a banking client kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So a banking client like see they don't want any data to be like it's a, because the data whatever it is, like the data is more most precious, like.
Mm-hmm.
So so like what I think is like, okay, they don't want, consider like the requirement is like they don't want to install the application on a like router device. You
Mm-hmm.
understand, right? Like what router device means, jailbroken or router device.
Mm-hmm.
So like what kind of protection can we give from this like sorry, build out Gradle files?
Mm-hmm.
Can we add one more build type, say like a protected, and like can we give any other options?
No, see, that build type is two standard build types is release and debug, right? So
Okay.
what you refer is you can create a variant for it, build variant.
Mhm.
That is, you
Mhm.
can create your customized variant. It's not covered here. You can create a build variant, but even with
Mhm.
that, you don't need the variant for it. What you do is just create the build type should be released, because it should be used by all the users, right? It should be at least available. Let's say for example, in the
Mhm.
rooted
Mhm.
device we want to proceed with the application, but it should be installable. Okay, so let's create a
Yeah,
release.
correct, correct. It can be installed, but okay, once after installation is done, when he's opening the application, it should say like, okay, we are not supporting for router devices.
Hmm.
Kind of message from
Okay.
something, or else like even if it is not customizable message, like whatever the message which is delivered by Google, that is also fine. Is
Hmm.
that possible? Like we can do that
Right,
way?
right, right. Yes, you can do it. So you can use multiple. Let's say we have one library called I want to say root checker or something. There is some name that is library. You can use that library. You can include it in your dependency block. Use that library to check if the device is rooted or not, and you can based on the it's rooted or not, you can proceed further in your after your main activity code. Okay, and another option is you can use Google safety net api. Google provides safety net api
Mm-hmm.
as well, so you can use that and to decide, let's say, whether you want to proceed on that device or not. So you can write all those code in your activity, and preferably in main activity, basically your starting point, and then here you can decide whether you want to proceed or not.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, great. So, okay, what Harris is saying, can you please repeat the test thing? Yeah, so let me quickly go through it. We have two things: test implementation and Android test implementation. Let's say you have some pure Java or Kotlin code, okay, that does not include any Android related thing. Let's say if you are calculating something, calculating a date or anything, and you want to test it, right? So to test it, you don't need anything specific to Android. That's why we have this test implementation function, and it includes the dependencies JUnit. JUnit is pretty standard unit testing library for Java, right? So this is why it's test implementation. Now let's say you want to test some UI, and UI means Android is there. UI means Android is there, right? So to test anything that is related to Android, you have this function called Android test implementation, right? And you have to include this dependency Android X test and JUnit and Espresso for testing anything that interfere with the Android. Okay, clear? Are we going to learn to write test cases in this course? No, because test cases are not part of this course, because we have a lot more to cover. And basically pretty pretty frankly, I'm not expert in testing as well. So that's why I just keep it, because we will go through like exploring other topics except the testing. Okay. So okay, so now we have gone through the project module level file, sorry, project level file. Now let's say you want to run it. Okay, this is generated code and we haven't done anything. So with this set content view, what this code will do is this: it will connect this code to the our layout file, that is activity underscore main, right? And we have written it activity underscore r means resource. So that is com.hadiyarajesh.demo xml project.r. It's something like this, import, and you can see dot r, right? So this r is a generated package, you don't need to do anything, it's a generated package. And all of these things under this res folder is the resources. R dot here you can see r dot layout, right? So r dot layout, similarly you would find r dot drawable as well, right? This drawable. So to refer to these files inside the resource folder, you can execute like this, r.drawable.ic launcher folder out, r.string, you can see the string folder here inside the value, right? r.string.app name, and you go to here, string. So these are r stands for the resource. So this see set content view will set the this entire content for this application. And to run this application, what you need to do, you need to go to, let's say, go to view tool window, and then go to device manager. Okay, now what you need to do, you need to, you can either use your physical device if you have it, you can either pair using Wi-Fi or USB cable, or you can create your virtual Android device. You need to click on create device, select the font type, let's say let us select a Pixel 3a. Okay, then click on next. Then you need to download the Android version. Let's say, for example, in this example I have downloaded Android Q, right? You can download anything, Pi, Oreo, Nougat, etc. I have downloaded it. Then click on next. Then you can provide the AVD name. AVD means Android virtual device. Okay, you can set its orientation, you can customize its memory or VM heap or internal storage, etc. Okay, and then you click on finish. Once you click on finish, it will be available here. And you can click on this button to start the AVD, that is your Android virtual device. Okay, so let's start it. Are we going to cover Volley library other than retrofit? No, we aren't going to cover Volley. We will only focus on retrofit because this is pretty standard, right? Nowadays, almost nobody use the Volley, and the retrofit is the industry standard. So we are going to cover a retrofit. So you can see this is my Android device Pixel 3a running on Android Q, right? So this is basically the virtual Android device. Okay, now to run this application, what I need to do, I need to click on this run button. Here I can select the configuration app, and emulator is this Pixel. If I have multiple emulators, if let's say, for example, I have created multiple emulators here, it will be visible here. And let's say click on this and then click on run application. Now what will happen, Gradle will try building the project. You can see Gradle build is running. So you go to this build window, you can see that Gradle is building the application, and these are the steps it's taking to package the application. Okay, so now you can see the build is successful and it's installing and launching to the device. So soon, okay, so now you can see our application is running on the device, right? And the title is demo XML project, and the text is hello world. From where this comes, if you go to the layout file, you can see the hello world is written here, right? The hello world is written. And what is it, let's go to the code view. So you can see this is a constraint layout, the parent of this view. And here we have one text view, right? And what is the text value of the it text view is a hello world. So you can see the hello world is here. Okay, and these things, these four lines make sure that this text view is center of the screen. Okay, these things are related to the constraint view, and it will make sure that this text view is at the center of the screen, right? So this is how you run your first Android project. And if you click on click on split view, you can see here as well. Let's say I want to add some button. Okay, let me add some button, uh, with equal to wrap content. And let me text android.text, uh, let's say button. Let me properly set it. Sorry, match parent, no, wrap content, and you can see the button. Let's say I want to move it below this hello world. Okay, so let me give id to these things. We are not going to cover xml, but just to give an idea for those folks, because directly jumping to compose would be a very mental shift, right? So let me give an id, text view, android id, and now let me this button is here, right? So let me bottom of the constraint bottom to bottom of, let's say, text view. Okay, let's, so this is how it works, and if I want to connect it, I can connect it to java code as well. Let's say if I click on run, I'll see the button and one text view. Okay, so let me quickly run it. So basically you can see the split view, or you can use the design view. You can directly drag and drop items like this as well. Let's say you want to put it here, you can let's say avatar, you can do something like as well drag and drop, and then you can write as well. Okay, or you can only see the code view. These things is not going to happen in compose. You need to write everything, like a drag and drop won't be possible, but still then compose is faster. Okay, I'll show you why. Because this is how you usually build, and most of the android developers, I believe, have not migrated to compose, and they build applications like this with the xml view. Okay, but this is kind of google is trying to get rid of this with the introduction of the jetpack compose. Okay, so this is up until now, we were building ui with this, creating our layouts and connecting our xml layouts to the Java or Kotlin code. Okay, so what is the drawback of it? You must have to have knowledge of the two separate things, right? The Don't ask again in terminate. You must have to knowledge of the XML as well as the Java or Kotlin, right? This is two different things. So that is one of the drawback. That's why like Compose was introduced. Otherwise, and the another thing is it's code this is not reusable. You can just declare it here and you cannot reuse it. That is another disadvantages. And with the Compose, you can reuse your components as well, right? You can see the button as well. Image is not visible because I had added image after the build started. So let me just run it and image will be visible now. So this is how you do it, and now you connect all these things in java code, and then you write the interaction code here, right? Like what happened when the button is clicked. We will see it quickly tomorrow, and then we will move on discussing creating jetpack compose, and we'll go through the app structure. I have already created it, and the because this is the just let me give you an example. I have already created the base structure. I'll show you. Okay, so this is our base structure. Okay, we'll see it tomorrow, and I'll show you how you can set up your compose application. And you can see .kts extension here, right? So these files are not in groovy but rather in a kotlin. So everything is in kotlin here, right? You can see let's say for example, if you go to the app level file, will see it tomorrow, but just to give you a glance, implementation is now proper kotlin function, right? In groovy we don't have this parenthesis to call the function, but now this is a proper kotlin syntax. So you can see this is if it's a build.gradle, it means it's written in groovy. If it's build.gradle.kts, it means it's written in the kotlin. Okay, so this is kotlin scripting kts. So this is how you declare your ui. Okay, so we'll stop here. and from tomorrow we will create Jetpack Compose, and I'll show you what is this all this buzz about MVVM architecture, what is architecture, why do we even need architecture in the first place, and then we'll try to implement it. Okay.
Rajesh, are we going to implement APIs with the MVVM?
Yes, so we are going to use the retrofit, right? So we are
Yeah.
definitely going to use the API call. Okay, so
Okay.
okay. So what Rajat is saying, what is Groovy? So
Rajesh, I have one
Vidya, just a
question.
minute, just a minute. So Rajat, Groovy is, let's say
Okay.
we have Kotlin, right? Kotlin is a JVM language. It's running on a JVM, Java Virtual Machine. So we have Java, we have Kotlin. Similar, we have another language called Groovy, and we have another language called Scala, right? Scala and Groovy. Both of these things are a JVM language, same as the Kotlin. Kotlin is also Kotlin and Java. All of these things are JVM languages. So all of these are independent programming language, but they run on a Java virtual machine. Okay, so Groovy is a programming language basically. Okay, yeah, Vidya, please.
Yeah, Rajesh. I think Kotlin is interoperable, right? So, in any Java project, we can write new classes or activities with Kotlin code, correct?
Right, right. Code.
So, in this, suppose there is a Java project, so
Mhm.
can we implement Jetpack Compose in that
No,
using some
compose,
Kotlin
no,
activities?
no. For the compose, no, because compose is exclusive to Kotlin, and because see, compose is making heavy use of Kotlin APIs like suspend function or higher level lambda functions, etc. Right? So the compose is exception in this case. In case of interoperability, compose is not available in Java. Compose is only available in Kotlin.
Okay.
Okay.
And one more thing,
Hmm.
that is, you said that there are two, suppose there are multiple modules in
Hmm.
our project, and there is a project level Gradle file,
Hmm.
and inside app level there are multiple Gradle files, correct? So
Uh,
some are there dependencies which are common in some modules. So can we declare that in project level Gradle file?
yes, if it's see, one project will have one file, one module will have one file. So let's say this, for this project it will have one file. For this module, it will have one and only. Let me give you like this. Put this way. This is a module, right? This is a project, so it will have one build file. This is a module, so it will have one build file. And we had another module called my application that would also have one more build file. So one project has one file and module has one file. There is only one project, but there could be multiple modules. And to answer your questions, let's say if we have similar dependency for multiple module, yes, definitely you can define it in a project level build file to avoid defining it on separate modules.
So there will not be any need to declare in a multiple Gradles, correct?
Yes, yes,
If it is common.
yes. If it's common, you
Okay.
can define it in.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Do anyone else has any questions on anything, be it build files or anything? Because see, if you have any questions, be it as little as see, because this is something I appreciate, right? Because Rajat has asked what is Groovy. Some of you might don't even know that what is Groovy, so it's perfectly fine to ask whatever you have, and I'll try to provide the answer as best I can. Uh, Okay, so I think everything is sorted. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see, like if tomorrow we'll see how to create a Jetpack Compose project instead of the XML. We'll go through the app structure. I'll review the dependencies, and then I'll show you what is the MVVM architecture and why do we need it. Okay, and on the yeah, Mayur, please, I'll provide it. And on Friday, we will implement MVVM architecture in our application.
Yeah. Hi Rajesh.
Yeah,
Joydeep this
hi.
side.
Yeah, hi, Joydeep.
Yeah, I have a doubt. Whenever we generate a build, is it necessary to change the application ID every time?
No, this is constant. This application ID is a constant, right? And it could be it like should be same as your package name. There is no need to change the application ID.
Okay, only version code should be updated. Like
Right.
the number of times we update the.
Yes, a version code
Oh,
should be updated when you want to, and this is, I think my voice is cracking. Is that right?
no, no.
Yes,
It's,
Okay, great.
Yes, Rajiv.
it is.
So I'm not sure what is the issue is, but only when you need to push a new update to your Google Play Store, you need
hmm.
to increment the version code. All other things can be stay same.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Rajesh.
Okay. Yeah, welcome.
Rajesh, I have one more question.
Sure, sure.
That you said there is R file which is auto generated, correct?
Hmm.
So sometimes we get error that we are not able to find the R file or like that.
Hmm.
So what's that? I mean, what does it mean that we are not able to find that R file?
So it could be due to your build is not succeeded. Let's say your Gradle build is not succeeded correctly. In that case, you might have some issues with your generated resource file. So you won't be able to find your uh, R files. That could be one case that build is not succeeded. In that case, you won't be able to find the R files. That could be one thing, and there might be another issues as well. Let's say, for example, sometimes Studio behaves pretty weird, right? So let's say if you have downloaded one Gradle version, let's say in this case uh, this is Gradle 7.5, right? And let's say you have updated it to 7.6. Let me revert it. So okay, so and let's say you have did this, you have click on sync now. Gradle has started downloading this Gradle version, and you interrupted it somehow, then you reverted to 7.5. So that means you have like uh, what to say, malfunctioned or kind of not a proper Gradle distribution available on your system, right? So that might cause some issues with the Gradle build system itself, and that might lead to not generating the R files. So you can, if there is
So
an
it
issue.
means my R file is not getting generated properly.
Right. So to
Okay.
avoid it, you can try to resync it, or if nothing is working, there is one new option, nuclear, that is invalid cache. Click on
Yeah.
everything and then click invalid and restart. So it will clear the caches and then rebuild the whole project.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, anything else? Anyone has any questions, or are we good?
Yeah, Rajesh, I have one question.
Sure,
I think maybe it is very early to ask you.
no
But
problem.
yesterday I was going through your one video for Compose, and
Mm-hmm.
there you told about single activity.
Mm-hmm.
So I could not understand the case of single activity.
Mm-hmm. Let's so you are are you like Android developer?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we'll discuss it tomorrow, right? While setting up the
Okay, okay,
Compose
okay.
Yeah,
project.
in app
Yeah,
structure
yeah.
it will be covered, right?
Sure.
Sorry?
Hello.
Yes, Ashwani, you were saying something?
Yeah, in app structure, I think you will cover this.
Yes. We in while creating the Compose, we'll discuss why single activity in Compose. Okay?
Hello.
Yeah, Anmol.
Yeah, I have one question like
Mm-hmm.
whenever I have to download some codes like want to see and run. So if the it is some old version, so while I am downloading a new version, it creates a problem like it is not running and creating some Gradle issue. So how to solve that?
See, like without a proper context, it would be difficult to answer because I don't have any context. Like, what are you even referring? So what you can do is, if you have some issues, you can just take us. Let's say your build is failing. Let's take a screenshot of it like this, and you can send in a group. I'll see what the error is, and then based upon the context and error, I can provide any solution.
Okay, no, generally I am facing this issue. That's why I asked to you.
But I'm not able to relate the specific context, like what error is. It's a build related error, or it's related to some libraries does not found, or like what?
Like Gradle issues sometimes come like Gradle it is in old version. When I update to new version also, then also it create. And in old version, like there are very various file na, which you have shown in the build.gradle,
Hmm.
and in new version they are only plugins only, so it this
Hmm.
that thing create issues.
Hmm. Okay, so if
This
you
thing, yeah.
okay, so if you have any issues, let's say if you have faced any issues in future, starting from now, you can just provide the exact error, and then I'll try to provide the resolution.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Has anyone any questions, or should we go to wind up this session?
Yeah, yeah, fine. We are
Okay,
good to
so I
wind.
think I think uh, we are sorted now, and I would again recommend everyone to be interactive, ask questions as much as you can, and that will be helpful for everyone, including you and me. So try to be interactive, take parts in the questions and quizzes and all those things, and that would make this session more fun to you as well. Okay, thank you everyone. Tomorrow we will meet at sharp 9 p.m. IST. Okay, thank you. Good night. Bye bye.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Rajesh.